So it's Virgo season, and we have a new moon coming up on September 2nd. I want to say it's 9:55, 10 o'clock at night, Eastern Time. And I love Virgo season. I have Virgo in my chart this much. Zero Virgo in my chart, believe it or not, as meticulous as I am. But I really like the archetype. I dig it. Virgos are really super organized. They're habitual. They're very practical and introspective. They tend to think and overthink every single decision that they make. And it's so funny because every single Virgo I know, it's like they say they go with their gut, but I feel like they think, overthink it, backtrack, come back, and then they're like, there we go. Like, I'm going to make the decision. I'm going to go forward. But I will say that I've never met a Virgo that isn't assertive. And so I got to give them that. But the new moon holds really interesting energy. I wanted to do a rune pool on it, but the one thing that came to me when I was doing some meditation on it this morning is we need to set meaningful change in small, practical, deliberate steps. And I say that because I feel like we're coming up on a season where, we're setting goals for ourselves, right? It's like holiday season is like, it's in the, I would say it's in the, it's ahead of us, right? We see it. But for me, September's always felt an energy of like setting intentions and kind of like evaluating where I'm at and then going from there. But the new moon, it's like, I feel like the energy leading up to this new moon has been extremely like setting down your protections, grounding yourself, and then holding steady. I'm about to get hit with all these rainbows because I've got crystals in my window. But it's about holding steady and having a foundation to grow upon. But with this new moon energy, it's about, self-improvement. It's about setting, starting and refining your habits, setting realistic goals, and then like doing small things to step towards that, right? One of the things that I absolutely hate, and anyone knows me can definitely vouch for this, is I fucking hate the gym. I hate working out. I hate exercising. I hate sweating. And once I'm in it, it's like, ooh, this feels nice. And of course I feel good. And then once I experience the after effects, it feels great. But one of the things that I don't talk about, and I think that this is the case for a lot of empaths or intuitives, is whenever I hit the gym as a medium, that it's a time where I kind of like, I tap out. And all the times that I tap out, sometimes by accident, I tap in. And so I'm always seeing like everyone's, loved one on the other side is coming in with them, and I'm like, God damn it. And then of course they see, they're like, oh look, there's a medium, she can like, she sees me, she can tell my person this message that I have. And so while I'm trying to hit 20 minutes at the elliptical, I'm always like being inundated by dead people, which is why I've canceled pretty much all my gym memberships even before I started. I'm always on like, I try to do it and then I remember how much I hate it and then I quit. But that said, I have, one of my intentions is that I'm going to start walking more, that I'm going to have like an exercise program that's like 5 days a week. Small steps to get me to bigger things, bigger goals, which is just being strong. That's all I really care about, to be honest with you. But it's about this Virgo new moon is many other things though. Today I had a reading, and in the reading, this woman didn't know how to reconnect with her spirituality. And by spirituality, she wanted to dip more into the craft, witchcraft. And she had started it and then stopped. And I talked to so many people actually in the past couple weeks that have been the same thing, where they're tethering to a different place of self-empowerment. And a lot of that is starting with setting their own intentions and then finding the power within to make them happen. And the one thing that I had told her, I was like, start small. If you jump all in, you're gonna be like, oh my God, like, what is this? And the one piece of advice that I gave was, why don't you start with something that actually makes you a little uncomfortable? Why don't you start with, a type of divination? Like, don't break out your old tarot deck that you've done before and maybe you feel like disconnected from, because it's just gonna remind you how disconnected you are from that tarot deck. But maybe you go ahead instead and you try a different type of divination. Maybe you do scrying. Maybe you, do some hydromancy or pyromancy, with candles. I recommended that she try something that made her a little bit uncomfortable and maybe a little bit uneasy, so that she could get she could get hit with a message, right? And that is my message for today for the Virgo new moon is start small, set a goal and start small, start very small with it. And that small step will edge you closer and closer to the next step, to the next step. And as those small steps grow, they get bigger and bigger until voila, you hit your goal. Fucking covered in rainbows. In your current energy is Naudis, which is constraint. Constraint means that you're holding yourself back. What are some ways right now with this goal that we're talking about, and this is in the Virgo new moon energy, September 2nd, this is going to be the intention and the action that you take. What are some ways that are holding you back from your goal right now, right? For me, it's mochi and vanilla ice cream. And also the desire to actually go out and exercise. But I want you to consider just any goals, any intentions that you are holding yourself back from right now. I want you to consider that. Now, I love this energy because it's very human. It's very human. We do always kind of shoot ourselves in the foot, hold ourselves back from, reaching our goals. Our challenge is Ingwaz, which I really like this because Ingwaz is fertility, it's abundance, but it's knowing that you are enough and that you have everything that you need, right? When we really think about, when we set massive goals for ourselves, right? When there's like big goals, right? We can be excited by it and enthralled by those goals, but at the same time, we're fucking terrified by them because they're so big. And so sometimes we end up either giving up or we end up shooting ourselves in the foot or self-sabotaging because that's what humans do. But that's the challenge, is knowing that you've got this, that you are enough. And the outcome rune. Oh, that's cool. Sometimes when we have goals that feel unachievable and we're stunted by our humanness, that is the time that we often see spirit guides come through. Spirit guides are our energetic cheerleaders. This is Ansu's, which is signs and synchronicities. That's why I was holding that up. But the outcome is knowing that, you acknowledge the fact that you're holding yourself back. How can you stop doing that? Your challenge is you are enough. You have everything you need. There are no excuses. The outcome is you're divinely protected. I think that sometimes when we set a goal and we start doing baby steps towards that goal, we start seeing the benefits from taking those baby steps, and we start seeing side benefits, and we start getting feedback from our peers. Sometimes that could be all of the support that we need, but there's also that time when we plateau, right? That's when we need that extra nudge, and that's why this new moon in Virgo is so important. And it is not about setting goal. I mean, it could be whatever you want, but to me, it was a very simplistic, goal for me, is to be strong and also to fit into all my fall mini skirts, right? But my goal is to be going for walks and doing some weight training. I'm gonna finally fucking do it instead of talking about it. For other people who I've been talking to lately, it's actually diving back into their spirituality and their self-empowerment by connecting with themselves and their higher feminine, right? For other people, it could be becoming financially independent, becoming independent, period. Finding joy, that's another, that's another narrative that I've been seeing a lot lately, is a lot of people being one step removed from their joy, is like taking a step forward and say, hey, I deserve that. I deserve to be happy. And that is the only thing for September 2nd that everyone needs to really think about, is what are some ways you're holding yourself back, knowing that you are enough, knowing that your guides have your back. And just remember, meaningful change in small, practical, deliberate steps. And that is it. I actually wrote, I'm like reading my own notes to the side, but that is thing. Meaningful change in small, practical, deliberate steps. That is stepping into the Virgo archetype. That is stepping into our higher power. And that is edging our way towards the goals that we set for ourselves in bite-sized pieces. Good luck and have an amazing new moon on the 2nd.